we are live and welcome to the monthly show, the CBA Show. And joining me live is my amazing co-host, Clarice.
Hi.
And yes, and our guest is Dao Long, and who is having some internet connection challenge right now, and but she is going to be back with us any second. And so today we are going to interview Dot, and the topic of our discussion today is connect the dots with Dot, and let us know. Oh, we have some people here. Let us know where you are joining us from, and on which social media platform. We are live on YouTube, should be, and on LinkedIn, and also on Facebook.
Oh, yes, I can see. Oh,
Oh, my
I'm
Hey, Dot.
back.
I am on my mobile. I don't know if
Oh,
this is
much
any
better.
better.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
amazing guest and Dot, and today we are going to learn more about Dot's amazing traveling social media journey. Originally, was born in Los Angeles and then left the United States to pursue her passions and her dreams in different countries. Hey, Peter, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course, of
Thank you
course.
for having me.
And Dot is a social media strategist. Is the founder of social media. Uh, is the founder of Social Media Dragons. Have you have a very interesting name, and I can't wait to learn more about it. And right now you are in Italy, right?
Yes, I'm in Pescara, Italy. I actually was meeting with the founder of Digital Design Days, which is a very, very important project for me. We started this event about 3.5 years ago to bring leading digital creatives from all the world to Milan in the country of Italy. So that's what I'm doing here right now. But I also just had my birthday, so I was doing a huge Italian road trip and just going from city to village, and it's been amazing.
Happy birthday! You just make us feel like, look at your life. It's just so amazing. What am I doing here right now? So
Yeah,
I
thank you.
really, yeah, so thank you. Pretty much every time when I chat with you, you are in a different country and doing something amazing. One time in India, like in Israel, in Italy. It's just like I can't wait to learn more about your journey and to learn more about how social media is allowing you to do this type of thing. And just very excited. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to, by the end of this year, I'll have traveled to 30 different countries.
Wow.
When I travel, I'm actually working, and I'm either working, exploring, or eating. So those are like my three hashtags, which is like eat with Dot, work with Dot, travel with Dot. And then now I'm launching Learn with Dot, which will be, the more of the educational hashtag where I'm teaching how to, do certain social media tools, tips, and tricks, and things like that. But yeah, I've had the fortune. I've been lucky enough to, be in 30 different countries, teaching in all parts of the world, and really just sharing my journey with everyone. So it's been,
Yeah, you are
it's
such a global citizen. I really love that. Yeah. So why don't we? Do you want to add something, or should we just start the interview and then you can slowly add things? Yeah.
sure. Let's start the interview. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I just love your energy. It's so amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we can start with your name because you have such an interesting name for yourself and for your brand. You call yourself mother of social media dragons. I just love this name. So can you please share with us the story and the meaning behind this name?
Absolutely. So I'd like to first thank my ex-boyfriend for actually, giving me the suggestion to look into Game of Thrones, because actually I've never watched Game of Thrones before last Christmas. So I don't have much time for TV, but I did. When I did my rebranding last summer, I decided to choose the mother of social media dragons because of Khaleesi from the series that everyone knows, Game of Thrones. But Interestingly enough, my Mandarin name is Dragon Long. My last name is Dragon. So this kind of inspired my journey of how I was going to actually brand myself into some type of dragon. I didn't know if it was going to be the mother of dragons or it was some journey that I had no idea that at the end of the day, Mother of Social Media Dragons was going to be my title, because I actually have birthed many Instagram accounts from zero. Social media is an amazing platform that I've been using to grow startups from scratch and projects from zero. And so basically all of these social media accounts are kind of like my babies, and I am like the mother of all of these different Instagram accounts. So I thought it was a really great name. But the name, the dragon, is actually an acronym. So DRAGON actually stands for the 6 elements of the dragon's formula for social media growth.
Oh, wow.
So D actually stands for dialogue. How are you going to, really have a dialogue with your audience, and what type of conversations you're going to be planning in your social media strategy. It's really, important to be knowing where you're actually going to take your audience and what type of dialogue you actually are going to have. Because why was Facebook, why was Twitter, why are all of these platforms created? What was the point of these digital platforms? Why are they invented? Because there is as humans, we are naturally inclined to have dialogue and converse with one another. And that's where you're going to get the most organic reach and engagement, is when you're having conversations with people, deep and meaningful conversation, in the comments or, on your content, wherever, whichever platform you're using. So D is for dialogue. That's like the first thing when you're planning your social media strategy, is what dialogue do you actually want people to be talking about within your community, and what do you want to be talking to your audience about? And so the R in Dragon is for relatability. If you want more likes and more people to comment on your stuff, and you girls know this, you girls are dragons. So, I'm not teaching you guys anything new. But the more relatable you can create your content, the more people that you can make people say, oh my God, me too, the more likes you will actually get. So if you want to get more likes on your content, make your content more relatable. How do we make relatable content? That's a good question. You want to use storytelling to become relatable. The more relatable your content is, it will become more relevant. And relevancy score is what gets your content onto the news feed more often.
Yeah.
So that's what the R is all about. Sorry, I got something in my eye, so I'm like a little teary. and the next letter in dragon is actually the letter A. And A is for authenticity.
Wow.
Okay, we are hearing so many people talking about what it is to be authentic online, and I don't know what it means to everybody else, but staying true to yourself and who you are as an individual is being authentic. And the more authentic, the more you can really show who you really are as a person, as a personal brand, or as a multinational brand, showing what your brand values are, the more people will follow you and stay loyal for you for the long run. Because you cannot fake it till you make it on social media.
Absolutely.
You cannot fake it.
Amen.
It's not a long-term strategy.
Amen.
You can maybe fake it for a little while, but you're going to attract fake followers if you fake it. So these are the followers that aren't going to be your die-hard loyal fans. They're just going to follow and unfollow you because you're not who you say you are, or you're not your authentic true self. So I always encourage everybody to be your unique unicorn, and be yourself because everyone else is taken, as Andy
Oh, so
Warhol
true.
or someone else says. So moving on to the letter G in dragon is one of the most important values is to give value. So giving is always a really important element in creating the social media strategy because it's important to give as much value as possible to your audience so that they will find your content valuable, right? So that they will engage and they will be able to learn from you. And you can use, methods like the edutainment method, which is combining education with entertainment. And
Yeah.
you're very, you're a doctor in education, so you can probably explain better than I can. But giving value is what's going to bring your community back coming for more, right?
Yeah.
So when we think about what we can give others and give our community, that has to be a really strong element in what the overall community management and the content strategy is. So the more value you can give, the more your community can grow, okay, and reach the right type of people that are interested in your content. So G is for giving value. O is for having an opinion. So you really want to share your beliefs and your opinion on social media. Why? Because this is how you're going to, if you don't share what your real opinions are, then you're not going to get real fans and people that follow you for what your mindset is or what your beliefs are. And how do you build community? Communities are built with people that share the same opinion and the same mindset about certain topics or certain beliefs. And that's how religion started. That's how
Correct.
the basic building blocks are what your opinions are. So brands should take a stand in what they believe in. Personal brands, but major brands as well. So, and the last but not least, the N in dragon is for niche. When you need to really find your target audience, you need to niche down. And as they say, there are riches in the niches. So the more specific and targeted you can create your content for, the higher conversion rate you will get at the end of the day. And that's the Dragons formula. And I am the mother of social media dragons. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing. It's very good formula that I can
I
see that you're
love
sharing.
this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's how. I mean, especially I like this part about like being authentic and you can't fake it till you make it. And I think one thing actually I
Yeah.
would really love to hear more about, as well as like your personal story, like how you actually, why did you decide to move to Barcelona and then to where you are right now?
So I followed the traditional path for a very long time. We're all Asian here, Asian American, yeah. Our parents are crazy, no offense. But, my mom was an immigrant from Taiwan. She went to the United States in the 80s. She had me. And at that time, the most important thing is like getting into a good college, getting a good job with benefits, and not doing anything too crazy like studying art or graphic design or any of the things that I wanted to do. You could be a doctor, lawyer, or attorney. Those are doctor, lawyer, or accountant. Those are the best career paths. So it took me about 25 years before I said, oh my God, I am really depressed and I can't do this anymore. Even though I had an amazing job with benefits and, a future ahead of me in the United States. I did everything my parents wanted. So go to, decent, I went to UC Irvine. I was one of the first people that graduated during the recession with a full-time job, and I left it all. I literally left it all. I actually got fired from my corporate job. I was I wasn't happy. I was really, really, really depressed, and I had to commute and drive to work like an hour each way, and it was in traffic, even though it was just like 15 miles away, something ridiculous. It's like growing up in Los Angeles, like I can't, when I go back to LA, I literally just get so much anxiety and stress because there's so much traffic, and I was like, I'm not going to live my youth within, and I'm not going to spend my youth driving to work and being somebody's corporate slave. Sorry if anyone has a corporate job, like no offense, like it's awesome, but I knew the moment that this whole corporate life was not for me, because when I went to this new company, everybody has the same signature, like the email signature. And mine, said my name, and it was in gray. It was in gray, and then it was an all in gray. And then so for my email signature, I decided to put my name in rainbow color because I love rainbows.
Why not? Right? Why not?
I got in so much trouble for putting my email signature in rainbow color that I couldn't believe it. So it was not good. It was not okay. It was a big boo-boo, and I probably got and I don't know what they do, but they gave me a negative point or something. So I just it wasn't for me, and I had actually studied in Barcelona when I was at university, on a scholarship to study Spanish, but really just, partying all summer and going to all the discotecas. And I knew that I wanted to live in Europe. I knew that there was something more than just, being in the United States my whole life, even though, my parents had a different vision for me, but I knew in my mind, I've always had a vision since I was a little girl to live in Europe and, have this bohemian, c'est la vie lifestyle. It was just like a dream that I had, and I wanted to, be artistic and creative and meet other European designers and artists. And this was like the vision that I had. And it wasn't until I broke up, with an ex-boyfriend of mine that I said, well, I'm not getting any younger. I'm not getting any younger than I am today. So I literally just picked up all my stuff when I was 25. I had, got fired from my job. I was in college debt still at the time. And I was like, well, it's now or never. I'm going to go to Barcelona and figure it out. So that's what I did. I took a huge loan from American Express. Actually, I've taken 2 loans from American Express now, but I basically borrowed, a whole year of living expenses to figure out how I was going to survive and pay my rent in Barcelona. And I didn't have by the way, I did not have a working visa at all. So I just went, and I went to go figure it out. There's some sound. I don't know if there's somebody. There's
Yeah, I think
some back noise.
Oh, is it really loud? Is it really
Okay,
loud?
better.
yeah.
Okay.
It's better.
Now it's fine. Now it's fine. So yeah, I had no plan. I had literally no plan of, life plan. I had no financial plan. I had no Spanish visa. I had no connections. I didn't speak any Spanish. I had to take 3 years in high school, so I had like my high school Spanish. But I just knew that I had a dream to live in Europe and live in Spain and make my dream happen in Barcelona, to be a creative living along the Mediterranean coast and just living that European lifestyle that I've always hoped for. And yeah, I went there in 2011. I did a master's in digital media production with the loan that I took out. And after the master's, is the summer of 2012, I still had, no job opportunities, because in Spain there was a huge crisis. All of Europe was having a huge crisis right after the recession in the US. And there were no opportunities, zero opportunities, especially, I didn't speak Spanish as well. But what I did is I actually emailed every single person I knew and contacted every teacher that I had. I remember that summer I went to a visa because I was like, this might be the last summer that I'll ever be in Spain because I can't get a job here. And I was like, I was so sad, but I wanted to make the best out of it. So I just had the best summer. But at the end of the summer, I emailed every person I knew, every person that I had met during my year in Spain, and said, listen, I am available for work. I am looking for any opportunity possible. I can do graphic design. I can do copywriting. I can do, I don't know. I listed all the things that I was good at and said, do you need anybody to help you? Do you need an intern? I'll do anything because I just want to stay in Barcelona because this is where I want to live and grow. And sure enough, I had a couple interviews. So one at a design agency to, possibly do some interning in production. And I was really excited about that because it's a really well-known design agency around the world. But I didn't get the position. So they didn't hire me because my design skills are not so seasoned. And actually, through this whole journey, I found out I always wanted to be a graphic designer, but I found out that I'm not a good enough graphic designer. But I'm really good at social media and I'm really good at art direction. And one of my teachers that I had said, hey, it looks like you are really active on Facebook and you get a lot of engagement and it seems like you really know what you're doing there. Why don't you help me with my social media? And that's kind of where it all started. I didn't even know social media management was a real job title. At that time, this was 8 years ago. So 8 years ago, people were saying, Twitter and Facebook and all this stuff was going to go away. And I just kept on doing it. So I was hired I got paid 500 euros a month. Okay. For my whole life, I had 500 euros to pay for, my rent and my food. So it was not enough money, but I stuck to it. I grew their Instagram account from 0 to all organically because at that time there was no such thing as paid media. And that's where I really learned how to hack the Instagram algorithm and how to really understand how social media works and how to grow communities in 9 months. That's where I really dug it deep. I practiced. That's how I started creating the dragon formula from these times that I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just testing everything. And that's how it started. And sure enough, people had started seeing how fast I grew this Instagram account, and other festival owners and other brands were like, hey, who's doing your social media? Who's Dot Lung? I need her. We need to get her to help us with our social media. And that's how I went from every design community to design community all around Europe. And I got to travel the world and go to different festivals doing social media. And it's been a dream come true. I never knew that I could ever have the job of my dreams that I actually created for myself because there was no job description to apply to. It was something I just created. Well, I want to, do your Instagram account and I want to make content like this. And they had no idea. They literally just gave me the password and they're like, here, you go for it. And now this company is actually a global recognized brand. They started, really small in Spain, but now they're all over the world. And it's incredible how much social media can have an impact on your business. And it surprised myself. I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. And now this is what I've been doing professionally for the last 7.5 years. So ever since I moved to Barcelona, it's really taken off for me. I get to work with my dream clients all over the world. I get to work with the best creative people that I've only dreamed of becoming. But now instead of becoming them, I just work and direct them, which is really awesome. And
Wow.
people think I'm a digital nomad, but I'm not nomadic at all. I just really enjoy traveling, but I've always had Barcelona as my base. I've built a community of amazing people in Barcelona, and now I just recently met the love of my life in Portugal, and we're moving back to Israel, and that is why I'm in Israel, because the love of my life is Israeli, and we just moved into a beautiful place in Tel Aviv, and I couldn't be happier. So that's
Oh
kind of like
my, oh
everything in a
my
nutshell.
God. I have like 20 questions. I have so many questions. This is such an amazing story. And the hashtag for our show is become brave again. Like as I was listening to your story, you were talking about this, and I was just like, wow, you are just so brave. Like every single move you made in your professional and personal career really like showed how brave you are. So like I want to ask you, when you were quitting your job, was it hard for you to kind of give up this comfortable life in the US to go to a different country?
Yeah,
Can you please share some of
very,
the emotional struggles with us?
very, very uncomfortable. I mean, listen, I grew up in a very privileged society, very, very privileged. My parents really made sure we had an amazing upbringing, and I had a new car. I had lots of cars. I had a new, Louis Vuitton Chanel purse. Like I thought that was what life is about. You know how Asian women and their purses, they need to have the latest Louis Vuitton, whatever. Like that was. I'm so sad to admit that, but I used to be somebody kind of like that. Like that. I needed the latest iPhone every time it came out. I needed the best. I was a consumer. I was your American consumer that needed the latest and greatest. And like I said, I'm ashamed to admit that, but that was who I was. And it's taken me moving to Spain and making 500 euros a month. Now I am doing very well. I don't, I've tripled, quadrupled my rates or since then. But like living off 500 euros a month to having, when I was, a 5-6 figure salary when I was in 21, 22, because I was working at, a medical device company doing sales, and, I was doing very well for myself, very well for a 21-year-old graduate. And to really just not want that was very, very scary, because it was more about like, what am I going to do in my future? Like, what is my future plan if I don't have this secure job, if I don't have these health benefits? That's really scary, especially, as a young person, you don't know anything about life at all. And I think my naivety actually helped me, really just be like, oh, well, like I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out when I get to Barcelona. I just know I want to be there. But yeah, leaving Barcelona and just I don't have any family there. Like, I'm this Asian chick, I'm like the only Asian girl in all of Barcelona that's, there. And it was really, it was a challenge, but I was brave. I am a brave person, and I'm even braver now because of the decisions that I made, because I really tested my limits. I pushed my boundaries. I really went for it full on. Like I took all the risk. So if you're not a risk taker, it's not for you. But I had enough cojones, as they say here, enough cojones to just go and trust and believe in myself that I could make it work, because nobody else is going to believe that I can make it work. But I really knew that somehow, like, I was going to make it work. And even if I didn't, my backup plan is not that bad. I'll just have to come to the United States. And that's a dream for most people. Most people want to dream of living in the US or immigrating there. And my parents were upset, man. They're like, we worked so hard to raise you in the land of opportunity, and you're just gonna go to Spain where there's 60% unemployment in Spain. What the heck are you doing? And people make like, 500 euros, less than 1,000 euros a month. Like the average person makes like less than 1,000 euros a month in Spain. So they were just, they were horrified. They were very horrified because they're all entrepreneurs. So they are just like, what are you going to do? Get a job that pays you like $1,000 a month? Like, how are you going to live? So they were really, really worried. But I think they were much more worried than I was. I was like, I'm going to figure it out. And I did. So it took me a while. It really took me a while. I didn't even know that I was going to become somebody, in social media. I literally am a keynote speaker traveling the world and teaching people about social media. I never knew that this was going to happen. I didn't plan. I couldn't even have planned it. I didn't plan it. I just went with the flow.
That's the best part. That's the best part. That's the best part. Wow, what an amazing story. I feel like, Clarice, if we just finish our interview right now, this is just like really amazing.
I know, because I can totally relate when Dot was sharing all about the parents, quitting the job without the income, going with the flow. As similar to you, I was also naive. Thinking, yeah, you know what? It shouldn't be that, tough. And I didn't think about that. When I look back, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't think through.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think it through at all. I was like, I'm just going to figure it out. Yeah. Didn't think it through at all.
From this, I really want to say, from a social media perspective, sometimes as entrepreneurs, if we are trying to launch something, we plan this, we plan that, we overthink, right? So sometimes, do you feel like the more you think, maybe the less likely you are going to take action? Like I'm the same because sometimes I don't know what's going to. I'm just like, I just took the action. As I'm falling from the sky. I'm trying to build an airplane, and it is almost like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of my amazing friends, Marsha Weeder, who I really highly recommend everybody to read her books and learn more about who this woman is, because she's just a phenomenal inspiration that I've had the honor to become close with her within the last year that I've met her. And she is actually who we call the Dream Queen. And actually, maybe I can get you guys an interview with her. She's been on Oprah twice. She's worked with 5 US presidents. She's written 15 books about dreaming and how to achieve your dreams. Ooh. And she says in order to get anywhere close to your dreams, you've got to take action. The one thing that's, keeping you away from what your dream is to actually just going out there and doing it. So no, do not keep on thinking and not taking action. You have to take action every day of your life. That's the only way you can move closer to your dreams. My dream was to live in Barcelona forever. Since I was like 18 years old and even younger, I knew I wanted to live in Europe. But when I traveled there for the first time, I knew that's where I want to live. And every day that I wasn't in the city of Barcelona, I was farther and farther away from my dream. So I was getting more and more depressed. So I created this depression for myself, like, oh my God, I'm not in my dream. I'm not living my dream yet. What am I doing here in Los Angeles? Like, I want to live in Barcelona. So I just once I took action and bought that one-way flight to Barcelona, I was like, yes! I'm like that much closer to my dream. But if I didn't take that flight over, I would still be in LA, having a nice job, but really depressed about myself because I didn't go for my dreams. So,
that's so
definitely
true.
Take
true.
action.
So,
yeah, actions are really important and
so true. I can so relate this for all of my professional kind of careers, all the pursuits. Like action gives me clarity on what I need to do next, and also gives me momentum and gives me confidence. So I so agree with you. Yeah. This I feel so inspired right now.
I know.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking
gotta
I
get out there. We
LinkedIn.
gotta go get out there and take action.
Totally. Yeah. I also have another kind of follow-up question. If Clarice doesn't have a question. So you are growing. I cannot not ask you this question. So what did you do to grow their Instagram account from zero to like so many
Yeah.
thousand followers? What did you do? Did you just follow that dragon formula or?
I did a lot of things. Okay, I tried everything. I did many things, but yes, the main the main structure of the formula I did was using the dragon's method and using dialogue, relatability, authenticity, giving value, having an opinion, and really niching down to who your target audience is. That is really, there's no other way around it. Like in social media, that is what works. Okay. That is what works. And then there's tactics. Like that's the strategy. The dragon formula is a strategy, but then you can like get down to tactics of how you can actually grow accounts. But at the end of the day, you have to be really have a lot of clarity on your target audience and what your message is and what value you want to bring. What is your mission? A lot of creatives that I work with, and they don't have their mission statement really clear on what they want to do. And that's why it's hard to get out. It's hard to start posting stuff on social media if you're just shooting in the dark. You really need to have clarity. So once you have clarity, you can have consistency, and consistency is really the name of the game. You've got to be posting every day. That is reliability. That is showing that you're consistent, that people can follow you because you're going to be there providing. So clarity, consistency, and it's really like going to the gym. I always put this. I use this metaphor. If you want that six pack in summer to go to the beach in your bikini body, you've got to be starting to work out every day. Every day you got to put in the time. And that's how you build audiences, and that's how you build trust, and that's how you build a following. You're not going to have a big audience if you're just, not doing anything, not going to the gym. So yes.
We just had an audience feedback from Peter Sumter. You've made me want to take action, inspirational and scary at the same time. So you've just got someone into action.
Yeah.
Totally. I think, your story is just so amazing, Doubt. It really shows, magic happens outside of our comfort zone. And so many of us, you look pretty young to me, and so many of us will wait until our mid-age crisis. I
Yeah.
think for me, it's almost
Yeah.
like that mid-age. I was like, I have to do something with my life. I could almost predict my life in the next 5, 10, 20 until I die. That to me felt so scary. So when you had that uncomfortable feeling, I feel like our soul is trying to wake us up. So I think it's such a like I just love how you at such a young age, just like take action. Just I feel so
Yeah.
inspired by you. So yeah.
I always say that I had a quarter life crisis. So, that when I give my talks, I'm like, I had a quarter life crisis. I was 25, and I was like, I can't be in LA no more. I can't do it. But you have to really hit rock bottom to, I was a very low point in my life.
So
So,
if
I
you
mean,
don't
now
mind sharing, like what trigger, what happened if this is not too personal, brought you to that really like for me the same. You when you hit that like rock bottom, you have
yeah,
to figure out something out.
you had to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like to be honest, I wasn't in my, I was getting really depressed. Like I really had depression. I was, I didn't hang out with my friends at all. I literally just stayed home in my house because I wasn't even using social media. Like that's how depressed I was. I feel like actually social media, there's so many negative rumors saying like, oh, social media, it makes you more depressed and it brings people down. But actually I think when I'm posting, I'm happy. It shows that I'm actually, wanting to share things in my life because I'm happy about it. Maybe that's not for everybody, but I do really believe that social media, for me, it makes me more happier. But we'll see what the research says. I heard there's a research coming out about this soon that I will share with you all. But I was really depressed. I was I was reclusive. I didn't do anything. Like I just was kind of in this state of pause in my life and reflecting on all of the traumas that I have had growing up. Like I was a victim. Like everything that was wrong with my life was, oh, my family wasn't perfect, and my boyfriend's a terrible person, and it was just a really negative mind, like mind tornado. I don't know. I was just really heartbroken. I was really heartbroken, and I was depressed, and I couldn't leave my house because it was too much to deal with the real world. And where was I going in my life? I didn't feel that I was like going in any direction, at least not any direction that I wanted to be going in. I had this urge inside of me to be a creative. I have a creative soul, and I wasn't able to express myself creatively. And that's one of the reasons why I had to probably, release that and get out my comfort zone so that I could once, be myself. I wasn't myself. I think that's the thing that I feel like in America, in Los Angeles, we grew up with Hollywood, that there was always like, this double life. Like it wasn't the real me. It was just the projection of what society wanted me to be growing up there. And it was really hard. And it was so hard that, I went into a huge depression, and I said no more. Like I need to, get myself out of this. But it wasn't. I wasn't alone. I had a lot of support from my friends. My friends that I grew up with, they've always, believed in me. And so when I said I was going to Barcelona, they're like, "Oh my God, you're finally doing it!"
It's so amazing. Yeah, I love this story. Actually, the reason our show is called CBA is really this journey. I love how you mentioned you was not yourself. It's really coming to a new country, becoming a new person, and the A part is aligning. Like this new professional aspiration has to be aligned with our authentic self. That self discovery is such an
Mm.
important element in like having a fulfilled and happy life. So I just love
Yes.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
a, I have a question for Dot. So when you moved to Barcelona, because for myself, I moved to London and I didn't really have any friends. So,
Anybody, yeah.
yeah, and then you said you didn't really speak much of Spanish at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So did you feel like lonely at times? Like, what happened? Like, did you build a network, and how did you
Yeah,
make
yeah,
friends?
sure. Oh, yes, absolutely. I was definitely always the outcast. The thing is, when I was growing up, like in elementary school, I grew up in Palos Verdes, and it's predominantly affluent Caucasian neighborhood. And, I was one of the few Asian people growing up in my high school. So I always, actually, strangely enough, I felt comfortable being uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. So being the only, Asian girl in, Barcelona, trying to, do business with Spanish people, trying to make something out of myself there, I felt almost comfortable because I was such a odd, like I was like a random person that they've never seen before, and it was, and how I actually got started was using meetup.com. So I started going to meetups and seeing what other digital nomads maybe were doing, or people in digital marketing in entrepreneurship, seeing what kind of meetups were available. And I eventually, decided to do my own meetup called Social Media Trainwrecks in Barcelona. We had a good run. We had like a good 2-year run. But I actually just created the event that I wanted to go to because there wasn't anything really about social media at the time. No one was teaching how to like grow communities on social media in 2011 in Barcelona. Like everything in Spain is 10 years later. So if you can only imagine that. that, I would like, people were like, wow, this girl's from the future. Like, she's like, not only does she look like an alien, but, like, she's like talking about social media and this stuff is like high tech. So I really impressed them. But no, so I never knew that I would be, be a keynote speaker, speaking and all that. And people ask me like, oh, how did you get started? I'm like, actually, I guess the first times I never saw myself as a speaker, first of all, because I was so shy in elementary school. I was so shy in first grade that I couldn't like raise my hand to go to the bathroom, to go pee. Okay. Like I couldn't ask my teacher to go to I couldn't. I was so shy that I just peed on the carpet during story time. Okay. Like, I'm like a terrified introvert. I'm really an introverted person. Like I took that Myers-Briggs test. Like I'm an introvert. Like I know I'm like, oh, hee hee ha ha. But I forced myself to like, become outspoken. I literally taught myself to be an outspoken person because, if you're a shy person, you don't get anything if you're shy, right? You're not going to get anywhere. You've got to raise your hand. And that was my first rebranding in 6th grade. I literally like from 5th grade to 6th grade, I was like, okay, instead of being the shy loser person, I need to do everything the popular girls do. What do popular girls do? Oh, they say hello. They say hi to everyone and they're always smiling and they're always talking to everybody. So that's what I started doing. I started raising my hand. I started volunteering. I started doing all these things. I would literally get so anxious and like my hands would shake if the teacher called on me. But every time, the teacher called on me, I got less and less shy and less, it was practice. It literally is practice. And I forced myself to practice to, organize these meetups. So I never organized a meetup. I had no idea like how meetup should be ran or, how to introduce people, how to interview people. I had no idea. I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this meetup. I'm going to talk about social media because that's what I love and that's what I know. And people started coming to learn from me. And that's how I started doing talks at my own events in Barcelona. And I would always have a similar format, which was first I talk about like all the social media train wrecks, like all the terrible news and stupid stuff people are doing on social media that we always learn from mistakes. So the way that I taught was always from other people's mistakes, other brand accounts that totally messed up. And then I would say, okay, this was a huge mistake and we all laugh about it. So we all were having a great time. And then I taught how it should really be done and how we could have prevented this social media catastrophe. So that's why we were called social media train wrecks, because we just analyzed all the different train wrecks and then really figured out how we can do better next time. And then I also did, social media hot seat, which was getting local entrepreneurs into my meetup and seeing and diagnosing what their issues are with social media and how I can help them. And so I did this in a group format. So it was almost like group therapy. Like there are some pictures, I can pull some pictures. It literally looked like we were having like a group therapy session, but it was like all about, what your social media problems are and how we can, optimize your strategy or do better content, or how can we, basically do awesome kick-ass social. And so I did that for like 2 years. And then slowly I got invited to speak at Social Media Day in Barcelona and MC the event, because everybody in the community knew that I was like doing this, monthly meetup about social media. So obviously you need this random Asian chick in Barcelona. You think it'd be like a Spanish Catalan person to host the entire social media. It was a smashable social media event. And they asked me to do it. And so just by saying yes to one event at a time, I said yes to, more. I started getting more invitations and it really started completely organically. And now I'm, doing it professionally. So it really started from building my community with meetup.com and hosting my own monthly events to getting to be invited to speak on different stages around the world. And that's how it started in a nutshell.
Wow.
Wow,
I don't know if
wow,
that answered your question.
exactly.
Yeah, no, you did. I think it helps because a lot of people they have this fear about starting like in a new country. Some of them they don't really speak the language, and then do you know like especially during holidays and stuff when everyone's going home to their
Oh
family,
yeah,
yeah, and then you are like a little bit like depressed at home, or maybe
sure.
when you are sick, and you don't have any close friends that would check on you or something. I think this is something that people are fearful about, especially when they move to a new country. Like there's no support.
Yeah, that's why you have to make your own. You have to create your own. You've got to attract like minds. You've got to attract people with the same beliefs. That's how community starts, and you'll find other people that are coming to you. So, I don't know. I believe in
You,
that. I believe in the
you
law of
are just,
attraction. So,
oh, Mitch, you are a dragon. Oh my God, my dear, you are a dragon. I'm just sitting here, I was like, wow, this lady is amazing. I'm like, wow.
I'm
It's
glad. I'm
like,
glad I can live up to the title.
absolutely. I also talking about the law of attraction because you give yourself that title. You never know. It's a chicken egg, right? So you are more
Exactly.
likely to be like that. Yeah.
You
This
know
is
what? It was very, that was also something that I was hesitant of. I'm like, wow, this is a big claim. This is a huge claim. A huge claim. How can I honor Khaleesi as well and make this giant claim about myself? But
you made
I'll
it.
tell you something else. I'll tell you something else. When I was growing up, I was ashamed of being Asian. I was ashamed of being Chinese in my community because I didn't look like everyone else. I didn't have, beautiful blonde hair, and I didn't, hit puberty earlier. I was like, Asian girls, we always get puberty later. So it was, it was difficult to grow up, and I always tried to be more like them. I never tried to be more like me. And I think when I made this claim, I was ready to take on and be myself and take on, my Asian and being proud of my Asian heritage and knowing that I do come from a family of dragons. And so that's when I was ready to share that's when I was ready to really launch my personal brand and share my story because I've never really did that before. And that was something really brave as well. It takes a lot to put yourself out there, put your story out there,
Absolutely.
and be ready to take criticism. And either people might not like it. Thank
That's
God everyone loves it, but
That's so true. That's so. I think Clarice, that's how we got started because we connected through LinkedIn, and I saw her. I said, "Wow, this lady is so amazing." So I messaged her because I really don't see enough people like us in the social media, in the digital media space. And I went through the same thing. I hated myself. I don't like the way I sound, the way I look, and exactly the same journey. And then, but it is amazing how we all come back to really leverage this. I think an important reason that we launched this show is to inspire others out there who are feeling the same way to don't feel that way, right? And be the change
yeah,
and
absolutely.
embracing who we are, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that you guys are doing this. So, congratulations to you guys taking action.
I have to say
Taking
this.
action.
I think it's between I and me. She's more spontaneous. So she was like, "Let's do a show," and then I was like, "Do a show?" And then I couldn't think of any reason why not. So I was like, "Okay, I
Yeah,
guess we could do a show."
yeah,
So we're like,
yeah.
"Yeah,
You're
yeah."
doing great.
And that's
You guys
how
are
Definitely.
leveraging.
Mhm.
Because I
Yeah.
remember when I was starting out on this social media journey, I couldn't see anyone like me, like anyone, speaks English
That's
with
why I
an
noticed you.
accent.
That's why I saw you. I was like, who is she? I've got to be friends with her.
You're
That's
too kind.
why.
You're too kind. Yeah,
If you never put yourself out there, we would have never been friends.
Yeah.
yeah.
We were
So
all shy.
thank you
Actually,
for
I'm sure there
being
are.
brave. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think isn't that funny? Because I started this with questioning my race, but then after I get to know more people, like regardless of our race, ethnicity, we all feel this way at some part in our life.
Yeah.
Maybe not because of race, but because of this and that. And
Yeah.
I feel like the journey is this part is something that everyone can resonate with.
Totally. It's
Yeah,
universal. It's not just an
yeah,
Asian thing or a black thing. It's universal. It's if you're
yeah. It's
on
like,
the
oh,
journey, yeah.
yeah, like when we're babies, we love who we are, but then society, everybody, whatever
Yeah.
media tell us, like we start to hate who we are. And now when we hit some crisis, we start to learn how to love
Yeah.
us like ourselves again. Oh my God, I feel this is so therapeutic so far. It's so amazing.
I think
Yeah.
this is the best way to start my Thursday morning. I was still feeling a little bit
Yay.
sleepy before. Now I'm like, okay, I need to do something today after this.
Yeah, you're such. Yeah, I want to just ask another quick social media question because you travel so much, Dot, and you were also talking about how important it is to be consistent. Sharing content. So
Yeah.
how do you balance this? Traveling, time difference, adjusting, and feeling tired from traveling, and then showing up and producing content all the time. So how do you balance?
So actually, I'll tell you this one thing. I never ever the reason why I feel that I was so consistent in the beginning is because I never felt that it was work for me. It was something that was just part of my lifestyle, and I don't feel that it was ever, an extra thing I had to do. It was just in my routine, and I enjoyed it and I loved it. So I honestly, it's oh no, it broke out a little bit. I'm back.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I just it was part of my daily routine, something that I love doing. I still love it. I love doing. I love sharing stories. It's never been a job for me. I'll tell you that. It's never been work for me. When I and when I'm in creativity mode, when I'm also, you know, helping other people improve their social media, it's not work for me. I have so much joy sharing what I know and teaching other people and helping, them get where they want to be, that it's never really been work. Like now I'm actually trying to shift, get into the whole, building my online course to be able to reach more people and teach more creative people how to do what I've done. So that's work for me, because that's like hard, like building your, landing pages and like figuring all these sales funnel things. Like that's work. Like that's hard. That's hard. But doing the social media part, that's something that's second nature to me. That's natural. That's so organic. So I love it because it's, that's when I'm in my zone. Like that's,
Zone of genius.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we probably need to wrap up almost an hour. This is just the conversation is so fascinating. Yeah, yeah. So as you're talking about this, maybe we can ask, what's next for you, Doc?
Well, I'm actually in Pescara today, and we're going to be driving to Rome to meet up with the rest of our family in Rome to celebrate my boyfriend's his father's birthday. We're actually birthday twins, so everybody's in Italy. We're gonna have a big fat Italian lasagna. And yeah, enjoy Italy. We're gonna be in Milan a few days after. So we're just on the road. We've traveled from the very tippy point of the boot, the south of Italy in Puglia. We're at the very south. We drove all the way up to Rome, and then we'll take a train all the way up to Milan. So just we did all of Italy, and then I'll be back to Israel, back to Tel Aviv, and then actually my family will be visiting the running of the bulls in San Sebastian, in Pamplona, sorry, in the north of Spain. Every year there's a huge festival for people to come and see the bull race, and so my family will be actually joining me in the in Spain in a couple weeks. So lots of travel. Lots of travel. I think I travel probably at least like once, if not twice a month, because I love traveling. And you can follow all of my adventures on hashtag travel with Dot. and you can see where I'm going and what I'm doing and people I'm meeting, and there's nothing that I share everything that I would want to see. So maybe people say I'm an overshare, but I don't think so. Like, I just share all the things that are beautiful and all the moments, and I love doing that. So it's never felt like work.
So, so we have a question actually for you. It's like knowing what you know right now, like having gone through the journey, taking the risk, becoming really brave. What advice would you give to someone who is, at this phase in their life, or they are going through a similar challenge? Do you have any tips for them?
What advice would I give for
Yes.
somebody that's
Going
starting out?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really important to give yourself the time to really find out what you're passionate about. I think, people rush. They rush really fast to, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this, and not really allowing yourself the time to learn who you really are and what you're truly passionate about. I think that's like a really key to having a long-term happiness strategy, right? If you want to have happiness for a long term, you really need to find out who you really are and what you're really passionate about. So definitely give yourself the time, like allow yourself the time. Like, this is your life. You only have one to live. So find out what you live for and what you want to be creating, what you want to be doing. And do that with Marshall Weeder calls this like your passion quest. So do as many things as possible. Do as many things as possible to find out what you're really good at and what you really love. Because you never know. Maybe you love cutting hair, or you love, planting plants. Like, you just don't know what that is. But it's so important to find out, because that's really what's going to make you more confident about who you are and what you like and what you want to do with your future, whether that's in social media or not. Like, it can be in any industry.
It's so true. I we were talking about this actually earlier, right? This journey to discover who you are, your authentic self, your inner calling. But most of
Yes.
us, we don't take the time. We buy stuff, we do this, we search for shortcuts.
Yeah.
And we don't look within. And talking about education, our educational system doesn't encourage us to do that either. We don't do this inner journey. So yes, amen. That's why we call this the CBA. Yes, so true.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you are going to launch a webinar. Did you already launch the webinar, or how can we support you? And do you have a link?
I am. Well, right now I'm testing. Okay, like, I've never done this before, so I'm learning. I'm trying to learn how to actually, create a webinar funnel so that I can be able to help other creative people and other entrepreneurs learn how to use the Dragons formula to create a social media strategy for themselves. So this is something that I am really just getting my feet wet in. I have no idea how to even do like a webinar, how to present it, and so if you want to go to my website, you can sign up for the newsletter, and I will be launching, doing a test webinar on July 7th. And on July 7th, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Yeah. So, I'm going to do a birthday webinar I wanted to do it on my birthday, but I just didn't have the time and I wasn't ready. Like, I literally wasn't ready. Because there's a lot of, I want to share a lot of my story. I want to share what my beliefs are and my opinions, because I really want to meet other people that believe in the same thing. And that's why it's important to share what your opinions and your beliefs are, because that's how you are going to create a strong community of like minds. If you go to my website, you can sign up for the newsletter, and I will basically be inviting my entire email list, friends and family, to join me on my first webinar. And at the end of the webinar, I'm not selling anything, okay? There's nothing that I'm selling, but I will be offering an opportunity to work with me on social media strategy so that I can create this dream course for young creative people that want to use social media to take their career to the next level. And that's who I want to support. I want to support young creative entrepreneurs, artists, designers, musicians, even anybody that has a creative career. That's who I want to help, and that's who I serve. And so as many of those people as I want them in the webinar so I can share with them exactly how to use the Dragons formula, and then another opportunity to really deep dive into each of the elements, and how to actually create dialogue, how to create relevant content, how to be authentic, really going deep into each of the elements, and really sharing the love, right? So
Amazing. I love
that's
it.
so
I shared
that's the next
those.
step for me.
Awesome. I shared your website in the comment section on different social media channels. Everyone make
Yay.
sure check her out. Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
having me. Thank you for doing what you guys are doing. You guys have such an amazing audience of wonderful people. I've been following you guys for a while, so keep on doing it, and don't stop now.
Thank you
Never.
for joining us today. And just a little bit of for our audience, like I we are planning for like a mid-year review session of all the guests that we had so far. What are our thoughts? After doing this show for, I think you are our sixth guest.
Half year
Yeah,
mark.
half year review. Of the stories, the best tips that we have learned from people, and to share like the inspiration and motivation. So that's going to be upcoming on July 18th. I think the time yet to be confirmed because I is moving back to the US pretty soon in 3 days time.
Wow.
Yes.
Ooh, US of A.
Yeah, we'll definitely share on different social media channels. So if you guys can join us, and so on July 18th, so please definitely join us and subscribe to our YouTube channel and
Yeah.
to hear more stories from amazing guests like that.
Yeah. So
Thanks for having me.
Thank you
thank
so
you,
much, Josh.
God.
You are amazing.
See you guys. That's all.
That's all, folks.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.